this idea that you will sacrifice your own mental health, your own well-being to not upset or hurt someone else.
I told you, my friend, there's a limit on it.
Yeah.
There's a limit on it, and you got to know when to call it.
Yeah, because I do it so
hyper-empathetic.
much.
You're a hyper-empath.
Yeah.
Although it might not seem like it, if he hurts someone's feelings, it destroys him. It eats him alive. Like, everyone has that thing that tears them fucking cell by cell apart. And it's for him, it's when he hurts someone's feelings.
I mean, sat with I know we said we would touch on it one time and never touch it again. I sat with Mac for a fucking hour after that whole thing went down. And I felt terrible about it, even after having the conversation with him about, getting carried away or whatever. I felt terrible. Like, that kind of shit just fucking eats me. I'll sit in my room for the whole day. People be like, oh, what's going on? And I'm just like, nah, nothing, I'm good. But
I told you to shut up. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
The comments kept saying that he was being mean to me, and he texted me like 8 times. He talked about, I'm like, Mike, you never did it. Shut up. Like, stop.
I don't know what it is about why I
But
am
you
like
have to,
that.
you give a lot of your energy away, which is awesome. It's an awesome character trait.
Yeah.
Except I'm telling you, you have to know when to call it. For your sake, sometimes for the other person's sake, sometimes for both. It's a blessing and a curse. It's one of those.
Big time. You got to know when to have balance with that for sure.
Yeah,
It's a great message. I'm saying this is a great message for some people in the audience right now.
No.
Like, there's someone a lot of people in the audience right now who are doing something in their lives sheerly because they don't want to upset someone else. You know what I'm saying? Sheerly because they want to not upset someone, not make someone sad, not want to see someone cry. And honestly, it's just really tough because when you start to noticeably feel the effect that is then having on you as a person, and it really is, energy is palpable. You start to feel a drain on your life force, when you give that energy away to someone else to try to save them or cheer them up or not upset that person. And so, to your point, I mean, at some point you just have to take control and be selfish. Don't be
100%.
afraid. Don't be afraid to be selfish at times. Don't be afraid to do what is right for you, because you cannot do what is right for others until you take care of yourself first.
Bro,
So
a lot of really successful people will tell you that. Yeah. Joe Coy said it when he came on.
Absolutely.
He's like, I'm in a selfish phase of my life at this point. Like, I like doing what I like to do. I like worrying about myself and achieving my shit.
Would you guys say this year was probably the most hardworking year I've ever had? Like,
yeah, for sure.
All because of one thing. I cut certain people out of my life. I swear on everything.
Is that why you haven't been coming by so much?
I don't like you. Dude, it was the hardest thing to do because, like, empathy is something that I deal with. Like, I don't want... I always think of the weirdest things. I'm like, okay, I don't want my children to go through that, so I'm not going to do this to people. Like, so I always think of the most random shit. Yeah. But one day my dad looked at me and goes, bro, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you, so why are you giving so much? And one time I was trying to, like, convince my dad that this person was a good person. And my dad just sat there and listened to me. And after I was done, he goes, bro, who are you trying to convince? Me or you? And I sat there and I go, bro, you're so
Such
fucking
a
right.
great question.
Oh, man.
I love when people say that.
Yeah.
Your dad's so wise, dude.
And so I did it, and like 1 month went by and it was hard as shit. The second month was easier. The third was like great. And then I was like 8 months into it and I'm just crushing shit. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? And I realized, and this is a really important message. You're either hanging out with somebody that's bringing you to a higher level, or you're hanging with an anchor that's bringing you down.
You think you're hand holding. You're really holding their wrist as you're walking up the mountain. It's baggage, my friend. It's baggage. And the moment you shed it, you're gonna be sprinting at a pace you've never experienced.
Of course, dude. Like, let's put it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and you. A lot of people will say like, well, he's hanging out with Logan because there's a lot of influence, blah, blah, blah. They don't see that when you're writing something, I'm right there with you. I'm carrying a load that you want me to bring. When it comes to a writing session, when it comes to a podcast, Mike's comedy, Mike's bringing value. People bring value. At the end of the day, when you go to the table, when it comes to something, you have to bring something to the table.
Yeah. Every close relationship that I have is so symbiotic.
Oh, yeah.
It's mutually beneficial for both parties. Man, I'd love to be the guy that's just providing, but it's just not true. Like I give and I receive, and that's just how it works. If any relationship starts to become like abnormally one-sided, and I'm like, oh, this is just a give relationship, I only have so much energy. Energy is finite. It's your currency. Don't waste it on bullshit.
Yep.
After my dad said, who you trying to convince, he said this to me, and it hit so fucking hard. He goes, what did you come here for? I go, I can't. And he goes, I'm going to stop you right there. Everybody's the same way. And I go, what the fuck? I didn't even say anything. He goes, you came here for a purpose. So did they. So they're not going to let you get in the way of their dreams. Why the fuck are you letting them get in the way of your dreams? Yeah. He goes, go, bro. Go get it. Help others, but help. When I came here, I had no money. My dad would deposit $200 in my account every week on Friday. It was Thursday. I had $19 in my bank account. And I could have easily called my dad and just be like, Dad, I need more money. But I didn't because I'm a fucking prideful piece of shit. And he always yelled at me for it too, so I didn't want to get yelled at. I'm walking to Subway, and I'm checking out my sandwich. And the guy in front of me got like 2 sandwiches, a drink, and fries. And he tried to ring it up, and his card got declined. You could obviously tell that this guy was not as fortunate as where I was at in my life. And I looked at him, and he was really stressed because you could tell he just wanted food. And so I said, you know what? I'll take care of it. And I paid his meal knowing that I didn't have the rest for my meal.
Oh, no.
Now, I could easily call my dad. Obviously, everybody's going to say that in the comment section, but I didn't because I want to be my own man. And so that night I went to bed really hungry, and I started crying, not because of me, because it was the first time in my life when I went to bed starving. And I was like, man, I don't want anybody to deal with this. I was hurting from being hungry, and I've never had that. And so I started crying because I was like, dude, there's people out there that have that.
Yeah, every night.
Every night.
Yeah.
So I called my dad the next morning because I needed, because he was going to take his time with it. I was like, yo, I need the cash, blah, blah, blah. And my dad said, I hope you learned your lesson. And I go, yeah, next time I call you. He goes, no. He goes, your lesson is you can never help anybody else until you're established. He's like, you got to have a solid ground. What kind of common sense is that? For you to help somebody else and hurt yourself in the process. He goes, just imagine if you get to a level where you could help 10 of those people. Yeah. He goes, but you can never hurt yourself in the process of hurting somebody else, helping somebody else.
It's a great point.
When the airplane's going down, put your mask on first.
That's why.
Before you assist others.